today's lesson. It is English of grade 8. The strand is grammar, substrand determiners. What is a determiner? A determiner is a word that is used to introduce a noun in a sentence, or a word that modifies a noun in a sentence. There are 4 types of determiners. The first one, we have quantifiers, we have demonstratives, we have possessives, and lastly, articles. In this substrand, we are going to talk about determiners, quantifiers, and demonstratives. For this particular lesson, we want to talk about quantifiers. So this is for this lesson, quantifiers. What is a quantifier? A quantifier is a word used to show the quantity of a noun in a sentence. A word that is used to show the quantity of a noun in a sentence is what we call quantifier. When they are many, we say quantifiers. There are also words that are used to answer the questions that ask how many or how much. How many of your relatives have visited you this December holiday? How much water do you take in a day? So when you are going to answer my questions, you are going to use quantifiers. Now, my good learners, by the end of this lesson, you are supposed to be able to identify a quantifier in a sentence. You are also supposed to be able to use quantifiers correctly in sentences. Now let us give the examples of quantifiers. Examples of quantifiers. Let us give examples of quantifiers. Can you think of the answers you are going to give me when I ask you how much water do you take in a day? Well, my dear learner, I hope you answer maybe I take a lot of water, or you can also say I take a little of water. So in this sentence, I take a lot of water. So a lot of is a quantifier, and the other one, a little, is also a quantifier. So with me, I have a few of the quantifiers in a flashcard. I have just used one of the quantifier, a few. So I have a few of the quantifiers. So let me show you. You can also read with me, a little. So this is quantifier, a little. Then I also have, you can also read as well, little. Little is also a quantifier. Then look, I have quantifier, a lot of. I have a lot of. And I also have, we also read as well, few. I also have quantifier, few. And then I also have, you can also read a few. I have a few. And then lastly, I have, you can also read back there, some. So these are examples of quantifiers. There are many. Let us also add other quantifiers that are not there on the flashcards. Let us write examples of these quantifiers. Examples of quantifiers. We have, can also write there in your notebook. We have any, we have more, we have much, we have lots of, we also have none. Make your list longer, and also ask your parent to guide you on how you can also write other quantifiers in the comment section. Now, let us now see how we can use these quantifiers in a sentence. How we use these quantifiers in a sentence correctly. How to use quantifiers in a sentence correctly. Remember, with nouns we have countable. The nouns you can easily count. For example, the flashcards I have here, you can easily count them. For example, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are called countable nouns. There are also nouns you cannot count. For example, I have a bottle here with water. You cannot count the water here. We also have sugar. You can't literally count sugar 1, 2, 3. You cannot count salt. You cannot count sand. So we have countable and we also have uncountable nouns. So when we are using quantifiers, we need to check. Do we use this with countable noun, or do we use it with uncountable noun, or can we use it with both countable and uncountable nouns? Now, let me give you examples of how to use them. Let us start with the ones you can use with both. For example, a lot of and some you can use with both countable and uncountable nouns. So let us say a lot of. What is the meaning of a lot of? When you say a lot of, what does it mean? I hope you are also discussing with your sister, with your brother, whoever you are watching with. A lot of means a large quantity. A large quantity. A large quantity. A lot of means a large quantity. You can use it with both countable and uncountable nouns. You can use a lot of with both countable and uncountable nouns. For example, in a sentence, you can say there were a lot of people at the wedding. There were a lot of people at the wedding. So here we have used a lot of, and we have used it with the noun people. You can count a lot of people. So this we have used it with countable noun. Now you can also use a lot with the, remember it is used with both countable and uncountable noun. You can also use it with uncountable noun. For example, water. You say, I drink. I usually drink. I usually drink. I usually drink a lot of water. I usually drink a lot of water. So here, a lot of is used with both countable and uncountable. So, a lot of water, which is uncountable noun. So let us look at some, how we use some in a sentence. I hope you have also written one sentence or you thought of a sentence using a lot of with the countable as well as with uncountable noun. So let us look at how we can use some in a sentence and the meaning of some. So what is the meaning of some? Some means an unspecified amount. An unspecified amount. It is an amount that is not, that is indefinite. You use some with both countable and uncountable nouns. For example, you can say, there were some people. Let us say there were some boys. Let's use boys. There were some boys. There were some boys playing in the field. There were some boys playing in the field. There were some boys playing in the field. So we have used some with the countable noun boys. You can also give an example of some using uncountable noun. You can say, help me with some water. Help me with some water. So we have used some with water, which is uncountable noun. There are also others, for example, any, that I also want you later on to go discuss and then write some notes or class. Give sentences. You can also use any with both countable and uncountable. Now let us look at the ones you use with the countable nouns only and the ones you use with uncountable nouns only. Let's start with few. What is the meaning of few in when you use few in a sentence? Few. Remember, we have few and we also have a few. We have few and we also have a few. When you use few in a sentence, what's the meaning of few in a sentence? Few means almost none. Few means almost none. Few means almost none. It is used with countable nouns. Used with countable nouns. Few means almost none. It is used with countable noun. Example in a sentence. Let's say if schools were open, and then you go to school on a Sunday. I guess on a Sunday you don't get teachers at the school. So you can give a sentence like this. I went to school last Sunday and few teachers were present. So you can say few teachers were present at school last Sunday. Few teachers were present at school last Sunday. You can also give your other sentence using few with countable noun. When you say few, then, for example, in a school where, like our school where we have 35 teachers, then you get to only meet one teacher on that particular day. So you say few teachers were present at school last Sunday. Now let us see how we can use a few in a sentence. Now before we go to a few, there is something important we need to note with few. Few conveys a negative idea. It conveys a negative idea. For example, if you were to do question tag, then when you use few in a sentence, then that sentence is negative. Now let us now go to a few. Whereas few means almost none, a few means not many. A few means not many, but nearly. Not many, but nearly enough. A few, when used in a sentence, means not many, but nearly enough. In an example in a sentence, I hope you can now give your sentence there. Another thing you need to note about a few is, when it is used in a sentence, it makes a sentence positive. So it conveys a positive idea. Few conveys a positive idea. It conveys a positive idea. It also used with countable noun. You also note there, used with countable noun. Example in a sentence. Example in a sentence. Example in a sentence, you can say, a few of our relatives have visited. A few of our relatives have visited us. We are on holiday and people go visit. So let's say a few of your relatives have visited you on given Sunday. So you can say a few of our relatives have visited us. Now let us look at the one. So few and a few are specifically used with countable nouns. Now let us see the ones we can use with uncountable nouns. We have little. This up here you can read little and a little. Little and a little are only used with uncountable nouns. For example, water, sand, salt, rice. Use a little food there. Now what does little mean in a sentence? Just like few, little means almost none. Little means almost none. Almost nothing. What is there is not enough. Not enough. Not enough. It is almost none. Little conveys a negative idea. It makes a sentence negative. If you get it in a sentence and you are supposed to do question tag, that sentence is considered negative. How do you use it in a sentence? Now let me show you for a little and the difference between little and a little. I have 2 bottles of water here with me. I have 2 bottles of water here with me. So when I say I have little water, let's say we have gone for camp and you realize you didn't even carry a bottle of water and I carried, so you are asking me for water. Then I tell you I have little water. What I mean is this. Something that is not enough. You cannot use it. It cannot help you. Almost none. Little water. When you ask me for water, and I tell you, yes please, you can go ahead and take my water, I have a little. Then what I mean, a little water I mean is something, is amount of this. I hope you can see it properly. So here I have little water. The amount here is cannot help, almost none. Whereas in this case, it is not much. It is nearly enough. A little. Now conveys negative idea. So you can say Jane was left with little water. Or another sentence may be using little. Let's say you are at the table taking tea, and your mother or your father asked you to go get him or her some sugar, and then you say, note that there is little water left. Note that there is little sugar left. Then it means he or she cannot get help. It is little. Also make your sentence using little. Then we have a little. I have a mini blackboard, so I'll keep on rubbing as I write. I hope you also don't get bored. So let us look at a little. What does a little means in a sentence? A little is used with an uncountable noun. It means not much. Just as I said earlier, not much, but nearly enough. Not much, but nearly enough. At least someone can get help. If I say, for example, I have a little water. So you can get help with a little water I have. In a sentence, you can say, I hope you also write your own sentence using a little. You can say, we had a little water left at the tank. We had a little water left at the tank. Also give you another sentence. So my good learners, we have talked about quantifiers that we use with both countable and uncountable nouns. We have also looked at quantifiers we specifically used with countable nouns, for example, a few. We have also talked about the ones that we specifically used with uncountable nouns, for example, little and a little. And that is what we are going to do for today. So, there are also other quantifiers that are used. There are so many. So I want to go and discuss how we use those other quantifiers we have not discussed. And then you write some notes with them. Now, I have these sentences and I want you to identify the quantifiers that we have to remember. One of the things you're supposed to do is you're supposed to identify quantifiers that are used in a sentence. So let me write for you two sentences and then you identify quantifiers with them. Underline. So the question is underline the quantifiers. In these sentences. Number one, the oil paint is too little. We need some more to finish the art project. We need some more. We need to finish the art object. Now, the first sentence I have here is the oil paint is too little. We need some more to finish the art project. And someone asked you to identify the quantifiers in these sentences. So I hope you have also identified. We have little here, and we also have more. Let me give you one more, and then you. Now, the second sentence is, before art became profitable, only a few took it seriously. So, and someone asked you to identify a quantifier in this case. I hope you are also identified. You can do it with your sister, with your brother, whoever you're watching with. And here, in this case, the quantifier is a few. I want to give you an extended activity. Now, in your book, in your English book, in your notebook, pick these 6 quantifiers and use them correctly in sentences. Once you have written the sentences, read the sentence to your mother, to your father, to your guardian, to your friend, to your siblings, and possibly if they can correct, the better. If you meet at school, I will also do correction. Now, we have been talking about determinants, and we talked about quantifiers. We've talked about quantifiers, the one we use with countable, the one we use with uncountable nouns, and the one we use with both. Now, my good learners, as you read, ensure you read books. As you read, always note these quantifiers and write these correct sentences down. And as you talk with your friends, as you converse, as you exchange greetings, always learn to use these quantifiers in